What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Sunday breakdown. So today's first pair is gonna be Euro Pound. We touched down on this pair last week, so if you haven't watched the last week's episode, you can actually go ahead because there is a lot of information that you can take from that. Then you can actually continue with what we have this week. So we have this point, the highest high that we had from way back in September 2017. Then we went into the future. We actually approached it with the ascending channel toward that highest high and making it double top. Then price actually fell down to this area that we had on last week Sunday breakdown. Then I actually talked about how price is gonna move either a consolidation or price pulling back, making also an ascending channel going to the downside. But I actually touched down mostly on the consolidation, then we continue to the downside. So we actually had this pullback, which was form of an ascending channel also. Then we actually put down. So this week's on Euro Pound, I'm going to talk about a head and shoulder. So I'm going to take this head and shoulder pattern, then I'm going to show you which head and shoulder I'm talking about. So the neckline from the left shoulder on this area to here, then going back to the neckline, then we go to the head, then we go back to the neckline over this area, then we go back to the right shoulder, then we continued finishing the head and shoulder over this area. So as you all know how the head and shoulder works, so you take the returns, so how you know where it's gonna go and how it's gonna move. So from this area going to the highest high, which is the head, so that's like 2.45, so 2%, 2.5%. Then going to the downside, and I get you 2.45 somewhere here. So this is where your returns are gonna be. I'm not gonna be looking forward for a pullback, like for a rally to this end. This is the next resistance that we have, the next key area. So I'm gonna end here. Then if price decide to consolidate over this here, probably what happens is you see price moving in a descending channel towards that major key, that is 2.45. So that's why I'm ending here. And I even actually labeled this head and shoulder target. This was from last week, so our anticipation, guys. So going more into detail where you're gonna enter, you guys, because I already entered this pair on Friday around 8 before I slept. So let me just delete this head and shoulder because now my chart is more cluttered. So this was the first target that we had, the second target from this area. I actually sent this on Thursday, I think it was a Thursday or Wednesday, I don't remember. This is now on our group. I'll actually put a link below, then you can actually enter our WhatsApp group also. It's actually free, so you can just enter. So normally people know a triangle, so usually a triangle will be like this. So you have your triangle moving like this. So you have price movement inside that triangle like this, right? Something like this, to the downside, up, down, up. Probably maybe you see price moving to the downside, or you can see price shooting to the upside. So that's usually where a triangle will be like. So this is the same thing, guys. As you can see, what usually happens is price will be moving from downside, enter the triangle, then move like this. This is exactly what is there right now, a triangle, but sort of like an inverse triangle. It's now facing the other side instead of facing this side. So what we are looking for is the same price movement as here. Then as you can see, I'm already triggered into the trade. So where you can enter, guys, you can actually wait for price to break here, then consolidate. After consolidation, you can actually continue to downside. So it's as easy as that. You can actually wait maybe for that movement on a 30 minutes time frame. You can actually see it clearer. The consolidation is not going to be much, but sort of like this. So you just have to wait for something like this. So make sure that price consolidate like this, then you can take your trade to the downside. So for now, you can actually wait for price to move to the downside, consolidate, then we can continue to the downside. So next, so US dollar, Mexican peso. So I'm going to touch down on key areas also on this pair. So first you have this like on the trend line, this highest high, highest high, second highest high. Then we are actually approaching on the third highest high also here. So it's something that like price was respecting these areas. So it was actually respecting this area also on the lower side. It respected also this lower lower support here. So now we're actually heading towards this, what do you call it, this area. Let me just zoom it in for you and show you what we are looking for. So now we are at a resistance. Price actually facing this resistance. It can be clearer on it. So on a 1 hour time frame, we have first this ascending channel, like sort of an ascending trend line, sorry. So we have an ascending trend line with 1, 2, 3 touches, right? Then we had this trend line, this descending trend line that I was talking about. So we have 2 trend lines with the confluence onto here. Then we had this that I'm trying to draw right now, which had the first touch here, second touch here, sort of like this is also a touch. I didn't get this right. So we had first, second, third. Now we're going for the fourth touch over this area. So it's gonna be a confluence of 3 trend lines, right? So expect like a shoot to the downside. So how we're gonna go from this area to there? How is that? Like how is it gonna be like? That's what we're gonna be talking about right now. So I'm gonna take my brush. So what I can expect, so since this is a resistance that we had and price is in the middle of that, so probably maybe by Monday there's not gonna be much of volatility. I mean, this is a volatile pair though, but there's not gonna be much volatility. So what I can expect is bouncing up and down this this, what you call it, this support for now. Then you can expect price to shoot to the upside. Then from there you can actually expect price to shoot to the downside, consolidate over this area, then you can continue again to the downside. So for Monday, you can get this on a smaller time frame. You can see the consolidation on a smaller time frame. Expect something like this. So a smaller consolidation from where price is right now going to the upside. That's what's gonna happen. Euro rand. So Euro rand, I haven't changed my my view on this one. I mean, last week I almost did when price was now moving to the downside, but like right now in South Africa, we're still in recession. I mean to say, and last week's like the inflation was the same as last month's inflation. So I didn't see any improvement on the fundamental side or on rand. So I don't expect any movement to the downside. I'm still holding like my opinion of price moving to the upside. So last week what I did, I actually had my first sell, my first buy, sorry to say my first buy. So my buy was from, let me show you how I actually got my buy. So I'm gonna take this over there. So we had this 1 point, 2 point, then 3 point. It was more like this when I actually entered. It was more like this. So after I had this break above, then pull back on this area, I saw it as a retracement to test this what you call it, this red line, the resistance. That was now the support. So I was actually expecting for price to shoot to the upside right away when the inflation got announced. So it was the same thing, like the inflation was like 4%. It actually came back as 4% on the data release. So price actually took a movement to the downside, and actually ended up taking a loss around this area, which was okay because it was just a pullback. As I said, guys, it's taking the same scenario as this, so I'm still looking forward for a buy. I'm only gonna change my opinion if, like, I'm not gonna change anything from last week's analysis. If price move like this, then we consolidate like longer on this area, then perhaps maybe I'll look for price movement to the downside, because it's now too long and it's no longer a flag, because the stick is now bigger than what you call it, than the cloth. So I won't be looking for buys anymore. If it continues to consolidate on this area, then I can look for sell setups. But for now, my bias is still up, so I have to wait. Now I'm no longer waiting for price to break this resistance. I now have to wait for price to break above this, then consolidate. Then from there we can actually take our buy to the upside. So for now, this week I don't think we're gonna be trading this way, unless if it shoots on Monday to the upside, consolidate Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then we can actually take this problem maybe on Thursday, Friday. So pound US dollar, nothing exciting on this pair though, but I have like one of our market structures, so in a ascending channel towards the resistance. So why I still believe that we still have one more movement to the downside is we had sort of like a layer of bottoms over this area. So we had the first bottom where people thought this was the end, and price actually surpassed it. Then this second, and price actually just touched and bounced over this area. Then we have the lowest point that we had from 2016. I think that's where price is still gonna go. So going on to a smaller time frame, let me show you how and why I say it. So on a smaller time frame, this is a 1 hour time frame. So I'm saying this is a 2 hour time frame, sorry to say. 2 hour time frame. So this is the first lower low, the lowest which was in the middle, then the lowest low that we had. So we had a descending channel here going to the downside. Why this was not sufficient for a buy was because price was descending in the descending channel, but it didn't touch this red line. So I always say on the market structures, only when price break the red resistance, then test the second channel resistance, then you can actually buy. Breaking also this upper part, then you can continue to downside. But what price did, tested this red resistance, bounce over this area, consolidated, and continue to the downside. So here you had a first touch over this area, this blue line and the red line. You had the second confluence, and price didn't really touch the blue line where we had our mid lower low. So why I think price has to move one more time to the downside, we have this ascending channel for this resistance, and usually when you have that similar thing, you will have a shoot to the downside. So right now I'm waiting for price to break this red resistance. If it can come back to the downside, test this red resistance, shoot to the upside, then you can continue to the downside again. So how it can move, let me draw it for you. So it can move like this, then it moves like after bouncing off here, it can continue here, move sort of like a ascending channel also. Then from there you can actually get price moving, shooting to the downside, testing this what do you call it, this red resistance. Then from there we can actually look for price movement to the upside again, or you could just shoot right now. When you test this red resistance, then you can actually sell again, wait for consolidation, then continue again to the downside. Then from there you can actually buy again. So that's the two scenarios that you can actually get on from this what do you call it, ascending channel. So this is the 2 hour time frame, so you don't have to wait much longer. So you can actually wait for Monday to for price to shape up and see what's gonna go. Maybe you can get a jump, or you can just get normal price action. Daily time frame on pound Swiss franc. This is gonna be our last pair. So we had descending channel. We had this pair like over a month on our watch list, and actually posted some of our what do you call it, some more signals on our WhatsApp group. I think it has been a month now. So I actually posted when we were actually heading towards this resistance, and I actually also described how price was gonna shoot to the downside, then we continue to the upside. Let me go on to the small time frame and see what we're looking at from here. So this was the descending channel. Then we had our lowest point over this area. Then we're now going up. As you can see, we had a store over this area, but we had like a double bottom over this area. So that was one of our signals. So double bottom here. It's more like this. Sorry. It was more like this. Double bottom, then we went to the next line, consolidated, broke above, came back to test the next line, then we continued to the upside. Then he had another consolidation over here, which took a long time. Then we shoot again on, was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. That's when we had like rallies on pound. Then we ended up breaking above. So when I saw this consolidation, I was like, damn, now we're gonna have another continuation going to the upside. But fortunately, price actually came to the downside. I didn't really enter this because I was actually waiting for one of my like my first position to close over this area, but it hasn't yet. So what I'm looking forward for on this pair, let me go on a smaller time frame. I think what we had last week was price was trying to just reverse and test this neckline over here, then continue to the upside again. So then it shouldn't really come out well. Alright, yeah. So after it came back down, I think it tested enough. Maybe we can have price moving to the downside again, continuing to test again, so that it can actually touch this. Then we can shoot to the upside. Have a pullback on the red, what you call it, red resistance, red support by then we can actually continue, consolidate, then you can actually shoot to the upside, take this next support, next resistance that is on top there. So that's my anticipation of price movement, like from now going forward. So we have like a huge space in front of us going to the upside. So our final target is supposed to be here. So price is going to move maybe in ascending channels. It's going to consolidate, maybe form some flags over the time, but we'll be talking about in the coming videos and coming Sunday breakdown. So for this week, expect a buy only above this area. Then as always, the other pairs you can just look forward and just check, just compare with your analysis also. Maybe I might be wrong, maybe I might be correct. Then you can just comment down if I'm wrong. I mean, comment down with any analysis that you're not agreeing with, then I can actually get back to you. So as always, signing out, guys. Don't forget to subscribe also or like this video. If you haven't subscribed, just subscribe also this on like on this channel. Cheers, guys.